Shalom. These last few months, really, I can honestly say this last few years, I've been thinking about um I believe I'm honestly not scared to die. But you gotta understand, not being scared to die is not the same thing as saying that you want to die. I'm not scared to die. But what scares me is that I could die not completely pouring out all my purpose, all that I am destined to do, that my life could end and I didn't get to do all that I am supposed to do. Because as you all know, we are living in crazy times. See, as a black man in America, our goals, our desires are actually different from many. But many people take for granted, we don't take for granted, because we live in a society where we're seeing more and more. Actually, anything we do can be seen as intimidating and as threatening. I meant we can't jog, we can't walk, we can't even just sit at the bench. We can't eat at a restaurant. We can't stand in line at a restaurant. We can't drive our car. We can't sit in our car. We can't fall asleep at our dorms or at our study halls or in the lounge at college without someone messing with us. And that someone messing with us is normally a racist, white supremacist. And we already know how the cops have been behaving, how they have been interacting with our people. And I tell you, I'm so tired of hearing people say, well, the number's not that high. It's not really that great. If one innocent person has been abused, if one innocent person had been murdered, the number is way too high. So now, after trying to digest and move on, and when I say move on, I don't mean move on from the horror of what happened to George Floyd. I'm not talking about moving on from that. I'm talking about moving on in the midst of what started with his murder. Now we got something else to try to digest and understand and move through. Thank God that the brother wasn't killed, but we have a brother that was shot 7 times in his back in the presence of 3 of his children. And now we have these issues to think about. And it just makes me think more and more about my purpose, my destiny, what is expected of me, and how I want my children to see me, how I want my family to see me, how I want my wife to see me, how I want people that know me to see me. I want my kids to know that that I love them, and I'm here for them, and I only want what's best for them. But even in the midst of all that I want that's best for them will not truly be experienced in the current state of how things are in America. Because being black in America is viewed as a great disadvantage. So we have to understand the things that I want for my kids, they will never fully experience it until racism and white supremacy is rooted out. And true equality is not just a cute slogan, not a t-shirt, not a hashtag, but it is a reality. It is substance. It will no longer be fluid in our hands running in between our fingers, but it will be something of substance, something solid, that we could actually grasp. So in the midst of me wanting something better for my children and for my grandchildren, for my family, and for just my people in general, sometimes we have to come out of our comfort zones and we have to speak out. Sometimes we have to act out. And when I say act out, I'm not encouraging violence, but I am encouraging that we do something different than what we have been doing, or build upon some of the things that we have been doing. Because we've been sticking to a script that have not truly been working for us as a people. It does not strike fear in the hearts of a racist institution to see us pray. It doesn't strike fear in their heart to see us hold a prayer visual, or to walk down the street holding hands singing Kumbaya, and we shall overcome someday. That did not strike fear in their hearts. What strikes fear in their hearts is the very thing that we are scared to talk about, scared to even think about, because we don't want to ruffle their feathers. We don't want to make them upset. But one of my biggest fears is not fully being poured out, doing all that I am supposed to do. Because as a black man in America, we are lions. We are supposed to be lions. We are supposed to be bold as lions. And that means speaking truth. That means taking action. That means having your brother and your brother and your sister's back. That means standing up for righteousness. That means standing up for justice and demanding justice. That means confronting anything that will stand as an opposition to what we have divine rights to obtain. So that's what I've been thinking about for everything going on these last few weeks, days, months, years. It's just been one thing after another. I'm tired of, I want you to understand what I'm saying. I'm tired of the t-shirts and the chance of say her name or say his name. And I don't mean that in a disrespect. I'm tired of the hashtags. I'm tired of the the things that we start in the midst of a tragedy that really carries no traction and really does not produce change. Because just while we're trying to get used to this person's name that we should say, another name comes up, and then another name comes up, another name is added to this long growing list of names that we got to say because their life was snuffed out at the hands of police. So I'm tired of it. And as I said before, I'm not trying to be disrespectful about it. We should remember them. We should honor them. We should make sure they get the justice that they deserve, that their family will see closure. But we have become comfortable with slogans, with hashtags. We have become comfortable with an uncomfortable situation. And it's time that we do something different. It's time that we build upon what we have been doing. And it's time for us to think outside of the box. It's time for us to be radical sometime. It's time for us to do something different. I want to die knowing that I had no fear. I want to die knowing that I was poured out and there was not a drop left in my vessel. I want my kids to know my dad was not a man that was scared. My dad was not a man that remained silent. I want my wife to know that I'm not a man that will remain silent. I will speak out against injustice. I will speak my mind. I will not be silent. And even in the midst of that is more I can do. And I want to be able to do it without fear. So that's all I wanted to share at this time. This is just something I've been sitting here in the study room, just pondering and thinking about. So, shalom, family. Be safe, be strong, and let's come together and see what we're going to do. Because there's some things that we have got to do. It's past time. Peace.